prepare for an electricity test that uses older electrical terminology, there are several resources to explore. Firstly, consider online dictionaries such as those provided by the Electric Club of Chicago, Antique Electrician, and the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA. These resources may contain definitions and explanations of electrical terms as they were used historically. Secondly, explore relevant books. The National Electrical Code Handbook, NEC Handbook, is an important resource. Also consider the Handbook of Electrical and Electronic Terms by John Bell and Electrician's Pocket Companion by Donald Lemke. These books can provide a comprehensive overview of electrical terminology, including older terms that may be encountered in the test. When studying, focus on specific terminology that is likely to appear on the test. This includes alternating current, AC, which can be single-phase or three-phase, and direct current, DC. Pay attention to the units of measurement used in electrical calculations. Amperes, amps, are used to measure current. Volts are used to measure voltage. Ohms are used to measure resistance. Watts are used to measure power. Kilowatts are also used to measure power, and kilovolts are used to measure voltage. Understanding polyphase or multiphase electrical systems is also important. Furthermore, become familiar with the terms used to describe electrical components and systems. Conduit refers to a pipe used to protect electrical wires. Raceway refers to a path for conductors. Fixture refers to a device that provides light or power. Receptacle refers to a socket for plugging in electrical devices. Switches are mechanical devices that open and close circuits. To find more resources, try searching for electrical terminology plus old school or historical. This can help you locate additional materials that focus on the specific terminology used in the past. Remember that electrical terminology has evolved over time, so it is important to understand the context in which the terms are used. By studying these resources and focusing on the specific terminology, you can improve your understanding of older electrical concepts and prepare for the electricity test. A deeper dive into these concepts follows, beginning with alternating current and direct current. Alternating current, AC, is an electric current which periodically reverses direction and changes its magnitude continuously with time. Alternating current is used to supply power to houses, buildings, and industries. The electricity delivered to your home is alternating current. Direct current, DC, is an electric current flowing in one direction only. Direct current is typically produced by batteries, solar cells, and direct current generators. Examples of direct current applications include battery-powered devices such as flashlights and mobile phones. Next, let's look more closely at the units of electrical measurement. An ampere, amp, is the unit of electric current. It is a measure of the rate of flow of electric charge past a point in a circuit. 1 amp is equal to 1 coulomb of charge per second. A volt is the unit of electric potential difference or voltage. It is a measure of the electric potential energy per unit charge. 1 volt is equal to 1 joule of energy per coulomb of charge. An ohm is the unit of electrical resistance. It is a measure of the opposition to the flow of electric current. 1 ohm is the resistance that allows 1 amp of current to flow when a voltage of 1 volt is applied. A watt is the unit of power. It is a measure of the rate at which energy is transferred or converted. 1 watt is equal to 1 joule of energy per second. Electrical power is calculated by multiplying voltage by current. A kilowatt is equal to 1000 watts and a kilovolt is equal to 1000 volts. Polyphase systems are those that use more than one phase of alternating current. The most common type of polyphase system is a three-phase system, which is used to supply power to most commercial and industrial facilities. Three-phase power is more efficient than single-phase power and can deliver more power for a given size of conductor. Now, we will look at conduit, raceway, fixture, receptacle, and switches. Conduit is a rigid or flexible tube or channel designed to protect electrical wires and cables. Conduit can be made of metal or plastic and is typically used in locations where the wiring is exposed to physical damage or moisture. Raceway is a general term for any enclosed channel that is designed to hold electrical wires or cables. Race we can include conduit, tubing, and cable trays. A fixture is a device that provides light or power. Fixtures can include lamps, outlets, and switches. A receptacle is a contact device installed at an outlet for the connection of a plug-in flexible cord to supply power to portable equipment. Switches are mechanical devices that are used to open and close electrical circuits. Switches can be used to control lighting, appliances, and other electrical equipment. When examining old-school electrical terminology, it is helpful to understand how these terms were used in the past. For example, the term knob and tube wiring refers to an early type of electrical wiring that was used in homes and buildings from the late 19th century to the mid-20th century. Knob and tube wiring consisted of single insulated wires that were supported by ceramic knobs and tubes. This type of wiring is now considered to be outdated and unsafe, and it is often replaced with modern wiring methods. Another example of old-school electrical terminology is the term fuse box. A fuse box is an enclosure that contains fuses, which are used to protect electrical circuits from overcurrent. Fuse boxes were commonly used in older homes and buildings, but they have now been largely replaced by circuit breaker panels. Circuit breakers are more convenient and safer than fuses, as they can be reset after a trip, whereas fuses must be replaced. In addition to understanding the terminology itself, it is also important to understand the context in which it was used. For example, the National Electrical Code, NEC, has been updated many times over the years, and the requirements for electrical installations have changed significantly. Therefore, it is important to consult the edition of the NEC that was in effect at the time the electrical installation was performed. Some other terminology to consider includes feeder, branch circuit, and service entrance. A feeder is a set of conductors that carries electricity from the service entrance to a branch circuit. A branch circuit is a set of conductors that carries electricity from the feeder to the final point of use, such as a light fixture or an outlet. A service entrance is the point where electricity enters a building from the utility company's power grid. Understanding the relationship between these components is essential for comprehending electrical systems. Further topics to consider include grounding and bonding. Grounding is the process of connecting electrical equipment to the earth, which provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source. Bonding is the process of connecting different metal parts of an electrical system together to create a low impedance path for fault current. Grounding and bonding are essential for safety, as they help to prevent electrical shock. When studying older electrical terminology, it is also helpful to review old electrical diagrams and schematics. These diagrams can provide valuable insights into how electrical systems were designed and installed in the past. Additionally, consider the tools and equipment that were used by electricians in the past. These tools and equipment can provide a better understanding of the challenges that electricians faced when working with older electrical systems. Finally, it is important to remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it should only be performed by qualified individuals who have the necessary training and experience. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, it is best to hire a licensed electrician to do the job. When working with electrical systems, always follow the safety precautions outlined in the National Electrical Code, NEC, and other applicable standards. These precautions include wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection, and energizing circuits before working on them. By taking these precautions, you can minimize the risk of electrical shock and other injuries. Some additional terms and concepts to consider are power factor, impedance, and reactance. Power factor is a measure of how effectively electrical power is being used. A power factor of 1.0 indicates that all of the electrical power is being used to do work, while a power factor of less than 1.0 indicates that some of the electrical power is being wasted. Impedance is the total opposition to the flow of alternating current in a circuit. Impedance is a combination of resistance and reactance. Reactance is the opposition to the flow of alternating current that is caused by inductance and capacitance. Inductance is the property of a circuit that opposes changes in current. Capacitance is the property of a circuit that opposes changes in voltage. Another important concept to understand is Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that the voltage across a conductor is proportional to the current flowing through the conductor and the resistance of the conductor. Ohm's law can be expressed mathematically as volts equals amps times ohms. This law is fundamental to understanding electrical circuits and can be used to calculate voltage, current, or resistance if the other two values are known. In addition to Ohm's law, there are other important electrical laws and theorems that are helpful to understand. Kirchhoff's current law, KCL, states that the sum of the currents entering a node or junction is equal to the sum of the currents leaving the node. Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL, states that the sum of the voltages around a closed loop is equal to zero. These laws can be used to analyze complex electrical circuits. When studying old-school electrical terminology, it is also important to be aware of the different types of electrical codes and standards that have been used over the years. The National Electrical Code, NEC, is the most widely used electrical code in the United States. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it contains detailed requirements for electrical installations. In addition to the NEC, there are other electrical codes and standards that may be applicable depending on the location and type of electrical installation. These codes and standards may be developed by organizations such as the International Code Council, ICE, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEE, and the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA. Understanding the applicable electrical codes and standards is essential for ensuring that electrical installations are safe and compliant. Furthermore, remember safety is paramount when dealing with electricity. Always de-energize circuits before working on them and use appropriate personal protective equipment. If you are unsure about anything, consult a qualified electrician. This exploration of electrical terminology, both old and new, should provide a solid foundation for understanding electrical concepts and preparing for the electricity test.